Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Mysticons, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hello.
Today, Delaney, April, and I, that was very peppy, are getting back into it. Appropriately peppy because we're getting back into Mysticons. Episodes 11 and 12 we'll be recapping today. A Girl and Her Gumlump and Skies of Fire, that aired the previous 2 weeks on Nickelodeon. The show's on at 8:30 a.m. on Sundays now on Nickelodeon. And these two episodes, I believe, aired 2 weeks ago on YTV. In Canada. So, we'll be getting into all that with these episodes. We're definitely going to be focusing on Skies of Fire, the most recent episode, big plotty episode. And then we'll also touch on, after, A Girl and Her Gumlump. But, we recap Mysticons, on a regular basis, probably either every week or every other week at, overlyanimated.com. Find us there. Search for Overly Animated Mysticons on iTunes to subscribe. We have a Mysticon specific feed. And if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to us there. I cross-post all our podcast YouTube. So you won't miss anything if you subscribe to us on YouTube. So spoilers for episodes 12 and previous of Mysticons. I know that 13, 14, 15, and 16, I think, have aired in Canada already. We have not seen them, and there's really not any spoilers out there. It's the black hole. I have no idea how to see the episodes. It's very discouraging. But yeah, so we're just talking these, no spoilers beyond that. Very briefly before we get into it, because we have to talk about, I guess, the elephant in the room. It's gonna be relevant to our discussion coming up. That's why I have to bring it up now. I really just want to get to the episodes. But I published an article today on overlyanimated.com entitled "Kiss Between Two Female Characters in Mysticons Might Be Cut." So basically I am reporting, we usually don't do reporting on Overly Animated, but, I'm reporting that there's a future episodes of Mysticons featuring, two, female characters kissing, that is, in danger of being cut from being shown. There's not really any information beyond that. It's in an episode much later in the season, as I say in the article. And this information comes from an anonymous source. So, you're just gonna have to trust me on this. I did get verification. So it's true. Basically, the short story is unfortunate over the weekend. I didn't expect to say that in relation to Mysticons, but, I was looking at someone made an industry thread where they post, stories of them working, and someone posted about a female oriented 8 to 12 show, where this, basically all the details that I said in the article, and people were speculating already that it was Mysticons, and I independently received confirmation, from a source that this is about Mysticons. So, this is true. You just gotta trust me on it. And, the reason I published this, and cause I don't like that we're spoiling people that this is gonna happen, that's like a bad thing. So and I apologize if this is like discouraging to people in the crew. I don't want to do anything like this. If it was just the fact that there is a kiss later, I would not have revealed this information. But the reason we do that is because we absolutely do not want this to be cut from the episode. This is very important, and the social importance of this potentially airing outweighed any spoilers from me by a lot. And we highly encourage any powers that be behind Mysticons to please air this. This is very important to a lot of people and would be very meaningful to a lot of people to actually have this representation shown on screen. So, please do the morally correct thing and, air this. Don't be worried about whatever nonsense people worry about. We will absolutely come to your defense, and the whole Mysticons community, please, let it air as intended.
As someone who didn't realize they were gay until they were an adult, to have watched a show like this at the age range that this show is meant to be could have possibly changed my life. Also, this is so good. This show is so good, and the show can just get better. And just the show is about 4 girls, and one of them has to be gay. Come on, y'all.
Right, it's just unrealistic to have a ton of female characters and
also just be so good. Please, begging.
Yeah.
I'm really emotional about this. This is so important.
It really is, and also coming from just someone who's has background in the industry and stuff like that. It's a censorship thing too. Why would you stifle people's creativity? It's straying away from what the show is meant to be, and no one wants that. Let this live out to its full potential, please.
Right. Yeah.
Like-
It's very important, and it is the intended scene. So,
Exactly.
Beyond that, what do you guys think of Delaney? What was your reaction to the news that this is actually intended to be happening on the show?
I was like, yes, because I was like, gay. Because this whole time I've been like, they're all gay. This is amazing. Like, I mean, it's kind of funny considering. So, Korrasami happened, obviously, in Avatar, and well, in The Legend of Korra, and it's just interesting from what Nick did to Korra. It ended up online, and like there was a midnight premiere, the midnight finale, and Korrasami happened, and my soul left my body. My soul still hasn't quite returned to my body since Korrasami happened, but like for this to happen, and like it's like because the show ended on that, and which was a beautiful, incredible moment, and this like how the relationship developed, but the show is young, and to have this happen now, and this to be built up, if it's a later episode, for us to see this happen, and then for it to unfold on screen, and then to see what happens afterwards, would just be incredible. And considering the ages of these characters, and like this kind of like what's going on in the show, this would just be absolutely like just magical and just astounding, and really like a real like moment in animation, and honestly for Nickelodeon, and just for like children's animation in general, like for like the show to be directed at the age range that it is, and for it to be like on like a network, and for this to happen would just be great. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
Like obviously like Steven Universe is super gay, and we all know this. But this would and it's very explicitly gay, but like for this to be like, I don't know, it's just different, and like because like, there is still that like these are quote unquote human characters, except for like obviously we have an elf and a dwarf, but like it's just different. Like it'll just and like
Steven Universe is its own thing, and this would be it's independently super meaningful, and
exactly.
And just as people who like watch the show, it's just like it's great that the show is going there. Like we've been speculating for a while, like that. Is this...
And you can feel it, like there's a lot, like they have such great characters, and like the relationships between the characters, like they really have something here, and like they can really do a lot with it. And for them to do this in their first season, oh my god, like
it would be
amazing.
Incredible. Like I would love it so much. Like I just flipped out. I'm still flipping out about it.
Thumbs
like,
up, thumbs up from us. And for clarification, within the first 40 episodes, season designations are weird, but at the end of the 40 episode run, and for the record, I do unfortunately know more beyond what was published. I am not going to be saying anything. Believe me, I have experience not revealing information, so don't try to read into anything. Delaney and April are clean, so
I'm clean. I don't know anything.
We'll speculate.
I don't want to know anything.
Well, I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't watch trailers because I don't want to be spoiled.
Spoiler averse, Delaney. Yeah, so we'll speculate on this blind item as we go. But yeah, that's out there now. Again, I want to mostly discuss the episode. This is a big thing, but we will discuss it as the season goes along. So let's get into episode 12. Skies of Fire aired again yesterday on Nick. So Delaney, what did you think of Skies of Fire?
Oh my god, I was like on the edge of my seat this whole episode. I was like, oh my god. And of course, I was also like, bam, me and April knew it. They're going to destroy Drake City. Called it.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, the meteor shower was so weird. Also, this episode started off, it was so cute. Like, it's so serene. They're just in like the teenager, like rom-com, like nonsense, laying down, looking up at the sky, and then just like nonsense.
I thought it
was
so cute.
It was so cute. They're so cute. And then like this, honestly, like I wasn't expecting to see like Kitty Boone, and then like there was like they were getting drunk off pizza. Like all of this is great. And then
and they had a pizza fight.
I know. And then like also like the was it Mama Calamari, whatever her name was? That was great. That was great. And then, like, the Casey thing. And I was like, and at first I was like, no. I was like, I'm kind of shipping it because it's really cute. And he seems really, like, he really feels bad about it. I just want my dwarf to be happy. That's all that matters.
I just want M to be happy.
And then also, oh my god, Zarya revealed herself. I've been waiting for this, though. I'm like, Zarya, just reveal yourself to Kitty and it's going to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
Also, they're gay. Like, oh my god, like that really meaningful look in like the cave. I was like, I was like, this is gay.
Yeah.
Very relevant, obviously, to what we've been talking
Yeah,
about. And like, just good. A lot of stuff happened. It was really neat. Like, I was just honestly, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, I was like, what are they gonna do? And then I was like, I love the Fozzes, and I was also frustrated with the Fozzes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll talk about the Fozzes. Definitely two big pirate ships from not pun, but yeah, from not unintentional, but yeah, from this episode. And yeah, I think pizza is the new for the show is the noodles in Legend of Korra in terms of representing alcohol. Yeah. Okay, Delaney, very hype about it. April, what do you think of Skies of Fire?
I was very hype about this episode. Like, it made me like feel very much like, you know how like there's like a lot going on in like the first episode, but like you're just like you're there and you're experiencing everything like all at once. And so it was kind of like that. And I was just like, what? Are we getting Kitty Boone back? Yes, Kitty Boone! And then like all of the Fozzes were just adorable. But yes, I agree, they were super frustrating at times. And there's the pizza eating contest, I guess, and there's just so much going on, and I really enjoyed it. And I love Em so much, and
she's the
shipping
best.
She really is. And like I liked the whole like chemistry between her and Casey, and how he seems like a super genuine person, so I'm okay with her, I guess. Ending up with a man, I guess, even though I really wanted her to end up with like Zarya.
Your cut.
Right. Maybe she's like bisexual.
Yeah, look, bi is still in play here. Come on, of course.
Yeah.
True,
okay,
true.
so
we just don't know yet.
Yeah,
we don't. And then like the whole like the Dreadbane scenes were even like really enjoyable. So I liked it. And they said it's magic hour. Like, I freaked out. I literally had to pause it and be like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, she said it like during the climax instead of during like the beginning.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, this is great. And then I was like, oh yeah, here we are. We're just going to destroy Drake City. Like, let's do this because the Fozzes are in the way. Like, because, that's a good reason to let the city get destroyed. But whatever. Like, it was great. I really enjoyed this episode.
Wow, yeah, hype all around. I love Skies of Fire. I think this is excellent. I think it's in contention for best episode of the show for sure. It's just really high quality plot episode. I think this is like the best example. This is definitely the best plot episode the show's done. Like, I think we've struggled with doing a lot of things and like having maybe continuity between some things that are happening, and there's still like a problem or two in this episode. But overall, like, the characterization was great. The narrative was great. Characters shined that like hadn't hit for me before in the show. Like, I think Dreadbane was incredible in this episode.
No, he really was. Like,
he was.
I was like feeling Dreadbane, and I was like, I still hate you, but
yeah, I think Dreadbane might be the MVP of the episode. Like Mac Haywood, voice of Dreadbane, also Malvron, but he is so good in this episode. Oh my god, he absolutely killed this episode, like, in a good way. Like it was, and also the characters is like dead, but yeah, it is.
That's why I laughed.
Yeah, not intentional with this stuff, but yeah, I thought it was great. Like, we do kind of like solve all our problems. Like, we get everything back. Like Zarya getting the her codex piece, and time to howl. Let's go. Yeah, it was great. It was so good. That was such a good moment. I love both of our ships presented in this episode. Casey and M, Casey, like, a great showing for Casey after, not being so good before, but, they were great. I love that M is like, no. In the, like,
no,
yeah.
When she hit him, I was like, get it.
Yes.
It was good, yeah. And then, a big Kitty Boone episode. If you weren't in the Kitty Boone before this episode, I think that she really shines here, and, really Kitty Boone redemption, like, for sure. Like, she's good, and, her and Zarya's dynamic, it was, very blatant here, I think. So, like, both of those ships were great.
Yes.
Yeah. And, just great characterization for everyone. I really enjoyed actually the Foz season, kind of framing device.
Well, it was funny.
I thought it was great. Like, it was just the running gag of the episode. Like,
I know that some people in our Discord weren't as hot on that, and Also, maybe some people not as high in the episode overall as us. Everyone still thinks it's good, of course. But I thought the 5-season stuff really just tied the episode together well. I think it's just a great use of this element of the show's mythology and this world. And I love the multicolored vases. Like they're so cute.
Well, no, they were really cute.
Yeah.
I was just really frustrated
so
with like the bomb scene.
Yeah.
Like, I was so frustrated, and I'm like, as a vegetarian, I'm like, you can't blow them up, but I'm really mad right now.
Paper's like you can't do it with those cutie pies there. Yeah.
I'm really frustrated. I was like, oh my god. Like, I was like, this is painful to watch. And like, even though I too could not blow up the vases, I was just so frustrated.
I do appreciate that the show like had them not do it and then also figure out a way around it. Like
yes.
Yes,
And then had the vases get involved even.
Yeah, Faz's help too,
Yes.
and then Piper awards them with elven medals of bravery. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There's just so much good stuff in this episode. What do you guys think? Is this the best episode of the series?
I really think it might be. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
And like just the pacing of it, there's so much going on. Like, this episode felt longer. Like, well, I don't mean that like it was painful. I just meant like so much happened in such a short amount of time, but it didn't feel like rushed. Like, I was just really into this episode. Like, I was sitting at work, don't tell my boss, and I was like watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then you go to a commercial, and I'm like, oh, I just want to know what happened.
Just keep it going. Like,
Yeah, do you agree, April?
I definitely agree. Like, I really, really enjoyed this episode. Like, I was just engaged the entire time, and like I was like talking to myself out loud while watching the episode, so that's how I know that it's really good, is because I'm like sitting there and I'm like, what is wrong with you, Kenny Boot? Ha ha ha, like just enjoying it to myself, even though I'm the only person watching it. Like,
Yeah.
just it was just really good. Like, and I agree, like the pacing was really good. Like, there was a lot going on. And it felt like, and I agreed, like, it felt like it was longer than it actually was. But again, not in the bad way. Like, and I like that we're sort of like, we're keeping up, like, kind of the pace of the series. But I didn't feel like, because, like, episode 11 was, I don't know, slightly, like, fillerish.
Yeah.
But it didn't, like, take away from anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, with Steve, you know how, like, with Steven Universe, how, like, filler episodes feel very, like, filler episode-y, whenever you're compared to, like, the, like, main plot, but I felt like they still kind of kept up, like, that sort of dynamic from previously into this episode.
Yeah, we'll get more into 11. I do agree. Like, it still maintains like an action-y pace and stuff. It feels legitimate.
Well, it's kind of like an Avatar filler episode.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Avatar has some of the most incredible quote-unquote filler episodes, like, of all time.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Yeah.
Steven Universe, you're like, oh my god. But then
You're like, oh, we're watching a filler. Like, you know, you're watching a filler episode before it even happens.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get more into 11. So yeah, I think the big ramifications at the end of 12 is we have all the Codex pieces and the Dragon Disc, and
Yay!
yeah, it's just we just got everything here. So
and it didn't feel unearned. That's what I think was really important, is because sometimes stuff like this can feel really like, is ingenuine a word? Ingenuine. I've decided it's a word.
Genuine, yeah.
Ungenuine.
Yeah, like, just not like this really felt earned.
Disingenuous, yeah.
Disingenuous. Thank you. I knew there was a word somewhere. But it didn't feel like that. Like, this actually felt like it felt very earned, and I think that's what was really important, especially like where we are in the show right now. And so I'm really excited. Like, what's next? And like, haha, Dreadbane, you don't got anything. Like,
yeah.
And they're still like, dun dun dun, Necrofa.
Yeah, and yeah, Necrofa's still in play. Yeah. What do you think, April? Do you agree it felt earned?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely like. Usually, like, if it's unearned, then I feel like you feel that way. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, like, how did that happen, kind of thing. But like, none of the ending of the episode, I felt like, oh, how did that happen, kind of thing, or like, oh, so we just have that now. Like, I didn't question any part of it, like how this episode ends. So
yeah,
I'm glad.
I mostly agree. The one thing that I wasn't super buying was just how quick Zarya gets the codex from Dreadbane. Like I didn't know it worked like that. She could just instantaneously take it away from him.
It's mine now.
Yeah, I don't think really care. I think it is a good decision to do things like that move it along at the expense of like marginal like narrative consistency, but that felt fast, but it immediately resulted in a great moment with Zarya shooting the wolf. Like that was, I think this was the best of the codex gettings for me. Like I really loved her just howling when she got it. It was great. Yeah, I thought that was really good, and I think getting the dragon disc at the end, I didn't expect that, but I think that works really well with the Kitty Boone redemption we get into. That I think.
Yeah, I felt that too. I wasn't expecting. I was like, "Where is it?" And then when she just like tosses it to her, I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I don't know if it matters. The dragon disc matters anymore now that they have all 4 codex pieces, right. But it did feel like it felt like great redemption for Kitty, so I thought that was really good.
Also, I like that it kind of like came full circle. Like she's the one who stole it from them, and so she was the person to return it to them. Yeah. Like I like whenever it's sort of complete in that package.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that this is, it feels mostly earned. And the bigger thing for me is that, I appreciated the, like logical consistency that this episode has. Like, it's like, how are they going to find Dreadbane's lair? We've been talking about this for a while. And, shout out to patron Steve who'd been always, saying, Kitty knows where Dreadbane's lair is. She was there. And it's like, yes, that is the obvious connection to do it. And this is exactly what the episode does. So, like that felt very consistent that, you go to Kitty takes you there. She's the only one that's been there. So, the episode just made sense to me. Like everyone's actions kind of made sense, as like we've been talking about how one of the two needed to get the there was like a stalemate with the codex pieces, like and Dreadbane's probably going to try to act on it. He'll threaten to destroy Drake City. Like that makes sense. Like we'll bring Sozin's comet down, sure, whatever. It's I think everything really checked out, and I really enjoyed all of that.
I really enjoyed too how they're crafting like Kitty Boone's story. Like you hate her, and then she does something. You're like, oh, I love her, and then she does something, and you hate her, and then she does something else, and you're like, oh, she's really cool. And like it's just nice to have this like complicated character, and like she's a pirate. Like that, she's a pirate. That's cool. Like she's basically a space pirate. Like she's a magic space pirate. Like you literally can't get cooler than that. She's a pirate. That's better. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
And like. So I'm really just digging her character right now, like what they're doing with her, because like all of her characters are flawed, but they're all very noble. And like Kitty is kind of like what Zarya could be. And that's kind of what's interesting about it. It's kind of like the flip side to like their backstory.
Right, like because Zarya could have gone down like the darker path like that. Right. Or more of like a morally ambiguous path. Yeah. I think at first with the pink skulls, the part of the reaction is, okay, these are kind of cool characters, but I was still getting to know our main 4, and maybe we're just taking too much time away from our main 4's characterization. And I still think that's kind of true, but this episode really helps to legitimize the pink skulls, who are clearly a big presence in the show now. Like these are our major secondary characters, and I think just as big as like Malvron maybe, and Doug. Like maybe Malvron's slightly higher up in the packing order, but I think that this episode does a great job for both Casey and especially Kitty, who I'd like that we get the backstory with Zarya, and that we kind of get a feel for her motivations. Like it's still kind of she's played
vague.
It's still vague, and she's played for drama too much. Like I think the low point of the episode for me, and the only thing I didn't like, is the between commercial breaks after Zarya reveals herself to Kitty.
Oh, I was super confused.
Yeah, we get a Zarya's Kitty's like no, and then at the we come back, it's no, I'm not helping you, and then when we come back, Kitty's helping them. So I think that was bad. I think that the show's had a little bit
I think it was in poor, like almost in poor taste, because like I was just like, oh, you're really just gonna have her be like no and like stab her best friend in the back? I don't believe that.
Yeah, and that wasn't
like a second.
That ended up not being the intent. I think they were just just making a suspense play. Like that was it. Which is
Right.
which you're supposed, like, that's like in the rule book. You're supposed to do that at points like this. Like that's kind of Kitty's character's MO. It didn't make logical sense to me. It kind of it called back to another moment like this in the show for me, where everyone was like mad at Zarya, and then we're kind of like okay with Zarya the next episode from a few episodes ago. So I think I don't think these suspense moments are worth it, and if you are going to do them, you have to play them in a way that makes more sense. Because like the intent ends up being, it's not apparent at first, but Zarya reveals herself to Kitty to get her to help, and she does help. So like that's like she trusts her after that, but you don't get the impression during that scene because they want to make it ambiguous anyway.
Well, she's like, I'm gonna like get you for this much gold, and she pulls out her whip, and you're like, oh my god, and then you go back and you're like, what's going on?
And it's like she's just
Well,
being.
I will say like it was played well, but like it was just confusing for like no reason.
It was confusing, yeah.
Well, it's because they set it up in a way that made like that. It was like Kitty was going to turn them in, like, just as they were, like, oh hey, I've captured you guys, but then it didn't even play out that way. You know what I'm saying? I think there was a real disconnect there, because she was just like, oh, think of how much gold I'm gonna get for you, and it's like, okay, so you intend to essentially like capture them and turn them into Dreadbane, and that would have been fine if that had like played out, but that wasn't how it played out.
They like played it too long.
Yeah. There was probably she was just joking when she said that, or whatever. It's not clear, but
they could have made her like wink or something, like, imagine how much gold I'll get for you. Wink,
right.
like
it would have been
cool
fine.
Commercial.
Well, I think the way they did it, like the way, like if they had just like made the whole like the amount of time between her being like, I'm gonna turn you in, versus like all like granted Dreadbane was really great in this episode, having to get Dreadbane and like all that stuff. Like if that would have just been a little bit shorter, it wouldn't have made it as so what when they like showed them in like in the ship being like ha, 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 ha. Like if they had just like it just felt really weird at that point, because the ruse had gone on too long.
Yeah, I agree. I think we played Kitty for ambiguity and suspense too much, but I think we're fully at a point now where she's cooperating. Like her BFF is and like childhood friend and like flirt partner now, complicated, but it's like she knows that Zarya's Mysticon, so she'll be on board. Yeah. So speaking of Kitty and Zarya, two big moments, I think, or two big lines between the two of them, I guess, was one of them was from Arcana, who says after Zarya was going to is gonna go, she's like, I want to free Kitty, but they're like, we want to go to Dreadbane or something, and Arcana's like, go get your girl. She says to
yes.
Yay.
So does this mean Arcana's shipping it? Is that what's happening?
Obviously.
I hope so.
But Delaney, what about the Arcana Zarya dynamic? Like,
I know. Like that will always be my ship deep in my heart. But just like in Ruby, how I know Ruby and Blake will never happen. Like, go get your girl. Like, come on.
That's not a good example of Ruby and Blake. But go get your girl.
Yay.
Yeah. And then even more relevant, because it's the two of them, after Zarya frees her, Kitty says to Zarya, you just gonna stand there looking pretty?
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
No.
And of course you could read this as
the,
just like friends teasing each other, of
no,
course. And it is. Well,
no,
that's what it is in the moment,
yeah.
right? Like
Yes.
that's their dynamic.
Yeah.
Right now, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when they stare at each other deeply,
yeah.
Secret love.
Yay.
First.
Okay, so how Delaney, how high up is on the ships list is this for you now?
Obviously 105%.
Yeah, but like 2 episodes ago, we were like, oh, Zarya and M, that's the new number one. So Delaney's
Right,
just
no, I know.
recency bias.
No, I'm like, okay, it's recency bias, but then also it was like this whole episode, I was like, gay. And I didn't know about this other stuff until right before we started recording, y'all.
Yeah.
So like it went from 100% to 105% because there's a kiss at some point. So I'm pretty sure it's them. This is my theory. I don't actually know things.
Delaney, recency bias again. Now. Like this was you with the previous ships. Like
So
What do you think?
I'm allowed to be like this.
Yeah, okay. It's good. It's good podcasting, I think. It's reacting.
Well, no, but seriously, the thing was like with him, it's just like I just ship them because they're cute.
Yeah.
And they're my two favorite characters.
This is more blatant than it was.
This
for,
is more like, oh my
Well,
god,
yeah.
happy. Well, okay, that's like, you know, people like back in book 1 of Korra, and then book 2, we're like, yeah, I'm shipping Korra and Asami. I'm like, whatever, yeah, that's a great idea. Then it starts happening in book 3, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I became the guru, and I became
Okay, no one has context for that, but yeah, okay. April, what do you think? How high up on your ships list is this for you?
I'm writing the recency bias because like
bias butts. That's where we are right now.
but for real, like in my heart of hearts,
RBB.
because I really enjoyed like the chemistry between Zarya and Em, and I really enjoyed that, and I would love for that to happen. But given everything that has taken place in this episode, like you can't deny what is unfolding, and so maybe we can get a little bit of a love triangle thing going on.
Ooh.
Like, yeah,
With Arcana?
see?
Okay. Either way, I kind of a love square. You got to bring in Casey and Malvar on too. What about that? For respectively.
It'll be like a dodecagon.
It'll just be like a giant group
Yeah.
thing. Like
So April says
Everyone-
you can't. April's like you can't deny it's happening. That's what April says. Okay. So
well, yeah, no.
yeah, the other big ship in this episode, Em and Casey, as discussed, they touch pinkies at the end.
They were cute.
Cute.
And
Casey's cute.
Yeah.
I like when he was like freaking out about like what to do because they were coming, and they're like, that was good.
Yeah, Casey's.
And he like shrieks.
Yeah, Casey tells Em he thinks he likes her. Yeah.
Cute.
I know it was adorable,
Yeah, and
I was like, Casey, timing, come on now, friend.
Yeah, come
like,
on.
Yeah, that time. Yeah, and then
I was like, go away right now. They have to go. Go away.
and then
yeah, like get out of here.
yeah, and then at the end, Casey Em says, "Nice catch." Casey's like, "Yes, you are." So
Cute.
or
Oh yes.
or does Em say that too? I don't know. But yeah, it's
Casey, or Em says, "Nice catch," because she essentially falls
yeah, she
on
falls
top
on
of
top
him,
of him. Yeah.
and then he goes, "Yeah, you are," and I was like, "Yes, she is." Like,
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that Casey is like this big guy, but he's like completely non-toxic, and also he defaults to his sister. Like, he's like trying to be really nice to Em, and is like, oh, I screwed
and he's
that
just
up.
in love with this super cool, awesome dwarf.
Yeah, yeah. Casey's all of us. Yeah, there you go.
Casey and
Basically.
date episode want it.
Yeah, I really support completely non-problematic Casey. Like, good job, show. Like,
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah.
Non-toxic relationship. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, well, interested to see if I will say from this is an insight from an upcoming description. It seems like we're going to get more into Em and Casey. So
Yes.
yeah. So let's see what happens.
And everyone else being really annoying about it. Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. Let's see how the others react to that. Okay. Yeah. As previously mentioned, I thought Dreadbane was a big standout here. I think this might be the funniest episode of the show too.
The
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing with the shoulder
Yeah.
pads,
So-
I
That was
Yeah,
really
so-
good.
so-
And like that poor guy. Like, he was just like,
Yeah, so Dreadbane says, "Are you mocking my shoulder pads? Do you have an issue with my cape?
you are with the cape.
You are either
You're
with the
against
cape
the
or you're against the cape, you cape
That was
hater."
so
Yeah,
good.
it's great. Matt Haywood kills that. It's so good. Yeah, later, what else does he say? He randomly uses to Tasma, who's also there, says, I am the decider and I will decide." That's a good one too.
he was having a very like witness me moment.
Yes.
It was great. He's like, "You will witness me do this thing," and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right then."
And he's like, now. And it's like, wow, it took you 2 seconds
Yeah,
to figure that out.
Tasma very easily manipulates him. Also, Zarya about Dreadbane. Could Dreadbane get any more emo?
Yeah, that
Right?
was probably the best line in the whole episode.
I love saying emo. Yeah, it's good.
emo. Okay, she said emo. Like, one, Zarya, you're emo, honey. Like, really? That was so funny. Like, Zarya, like, really?
Your blue hair.
Also, like, you got kidnapped by pirates. Like, you're back. Like, really? Like, your whole life. Like, you were like, literally the most emo. But like the fact that she said emo and like about like the main villain, incredible. Like that was, I love that. I was like, oh my god, this actually just happened. That's
He
like
really
that's
is,
even
though.
better. That's even better than Oh, it's sad face emoji. It's still better than sad face.
Sad face emoji is a classic, but yeah,
it is a classic.
It's very classic.
Yeah,
but
Delaney calling Zarya out. Wow.
I love her, but like Zarya.
Yeah.
Zarya, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think by the way, just this is a great this might be the best Zarya episode. I mean, episode 5 is also really good, but she really shines here. Like I think Zarya's had lagging a little bit in popping on the show compared to like M and maybe Piper.
Well, it's like this is like the episode we see her. She's very sure of herself in this episode, which I think is like,
I think this is Zarya's breakout episode. Like
well, I was gonna say this is Zarya's Codex like episode, you know what I mean? Like this is where she's supposed to sort of shine, and so I think she did that in this episode. Like I think it was very well done. Like even more so, like I really enjoyed M's, and so it's right up there with M's, where in the sense that like Piper and Arcana's was very lacking. Like theirs have definitely like shined and are easily like my favorite episodes.
Yeah, it's she gets her Codex piece. I love her. Yeah, we her releasing it. She her big moment revealing herself to Kitty, her rescuing Kitty, like just a bunch of great Zarya stuff all around here.
She's the best.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the Zarya's Codex piece, so Dreadbane has it, and he fires it off. He says, "Phoenix beat my spectral wall." That's his
thing.
Yeah. You had to workshop that Dreadbane. Yeah. Time to howl is better. Yeah.
He's not good at creativity on the fly.
Drake. Yeah, just a breakout episode for that's why this episode's so impressive. Like I think it's really a big breakout episode for Dreadbane, Zarya, Kitty, Casey. Like all 4 characters, like just really shine through here.
It's really great considering like we get all that and like it's just a normal episode. Like it's just like it's not longer than normal, and it's like they really can do a lot narratively, and they can do it well.
Yeah,
they really do. Like the writers like shine.
Yeah.
In episodes like these.
The fact that
these episodes are just really well put together.
Yeah, the show's been super well put together for a while. The fact that again we've said this a lot. The fact that the show is this good, 12 episodes in, is pretty incredible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Other random things. So at the end, we talk about the Piper giving the Fazes the Elven Medal's bravery. Arcana. So Arcana sees Necropha in the portal. Arcana tells Malveron she saw Necropha. So 2 questions. One is how is Necropha revived potentially without all 4 Codex pieces? Yeah.
That was my question, because I was like, wait, how is that thing working without all of the Codex pieces? Because up to this point, we've been led to believe that, like, Dreadbane was going to need all of the Codex pieces in order to, I guess, open this portal, or I forgot what they called it. And I literally just watched the episode.
It's like she said plane, I don't remember.
Yeah, she said, like temporal plane or something like that. And I was like, okay, so why is this active? Who did this and how, kind of thing, like, because it sort of goes against like what we've been led to believe about like what Dreadbane was trying to set out and accomplish. So I had a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, we still don't have a lot of background on like Necropha and like how powerful she is. So maybe she's like she could do something, like maybe she just needs some help, but like she's doing
interesting.
A lot of
so
stuff.
because she's alive, so she helps break herself out. Yeah, I do think it's important noting she isn't out yet, so it's not like we've broken the need for credits. But I will say next episode does have Necropha in the name, so if she does get out, I am curious how that happens. Like, or
maybe it's just like a history lesson, like.
It could be a flashback.
13 episodes in. Goodness gracious!
I will say, in my conversations, something else I learned, which I was not previously aware of, is that supposedly episode 13 is a pseudo season finale. I wasn't aware that the 40 episodes were meant to be divided, but apparently it's three like arcs that are kind of seasons. Okay. Obviously, the networks are not treating it like that. Like YTV aired 13 and 14 together, so they just blatantly did not care about that. So expect big things next episode. Is
hype.
Yeah. Oh no, my heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
The show's going so fast.
Yeah, it is going very fast. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Necropa. Very interested to see that. But yeah.
I need more than 40 episodes. I've already decided.
Okay. 12 in. Come on, slow down. We're 12 in. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's it for Skies of Fire. Very, very high on that episode. Let's briefly talk about A Girl and Her Gumlump. Delaney, brief thoughts on this one.
Like, it wasn't the best. I didn't hate it. Like, I thought it was still a good, like, filler episode. Like, it was funny. And, like, they reminded me of the adipose from Doctor Who. That's what the Gumlumps reminded me of. The faces were really creepy.
Go back. To remind me what those are from Doctor Who.
They're the little fat things. They're for the fat people. They're the fat, like, little gremlin things.
Okay, I don't remember right now, but
they're cute.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. Okay, anyway.
They're like from people are taking these diet pills and they're actually like.
Okay. Okay, that nonsense. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
I will say this episode is so I am not a person who's watched Star Trek, but I am kind of aware of
the Tribbles.
Yeah, I am kind of aware of what Trouble with Tribbles is in the history of television, and I think this episode is a very blatant Trouble with Tribbles tribute episode.
Oh no, it's very blatant that it is.
Yeah, so that's what they're going for. So yeah, in that episode, like they get a pet and it multiplies, right? So that's what happens here.
Its face is really creepy.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the puddins?
I did not like the puddin.
What? Anti-puddins? Puddinses?
They were not... I mean, I thought it was cute how much Piper enjoyed them, but I was... Like, they didn't make sense, like... Because, like, they would just, like, sort of, like, go through things and, sort of absorb things, but then, like, how is Piper able to hold them? Like, shouldn't her arms just, like, go immediately through it?
They just,
she picks it up?
Don't question logic. It's because they absorb magic. I guess Piper's not inherently magic. I don't know. But, so April, what...
Does that mean pauses are magic?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Whatever. I'm not too concerned. Because the Foz gets absorbed by it, yeah. April...
I liked how they, the end of the episode I really enjoyed.
Yeah, well, April, briefly, what did you think of the episode?
I mean, it was all right. I thought the Sir Gawain stuff was actually kind of funny. That was surprising to me. Like what is it? He's like, where do all these pools keep coming from? And it's like the swim at your whim incentive. And I was like, what?
Yeah, Gawain's programs are pretty good. Yeah.
The squishy sidewalk, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I really enjoyed Mathis,
yeah.
Mathis's ghetto pet store in the alleyway.
Yeah, I was not buying that they would just get a pet from Mathis. That stretched the logic of the show for me.
I was like, y'all, really?
It's like, really, Zarya's not going to intervene here. She knows what's up with him.
Even like Arcana, like barely. She was just like, are you sure this is where you want to get your pet? And I'm like, why don't you just walk away? Like, just leave the alley.
I know. It was just like, leave it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a decent episode. It's like,
also none of them knew what it was except Doug.
Yeah,
right.
Malfron also knew, yeah. But they were conveniently away. Yeah, I think this is...
Doing what?
They're playing their Hexbox.
Playing Hexbox, yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of Hexbox, I really love the, there's no Scryfy lady in this episode. That was great. That was me.
She was wonderful.
That was me, yeah.
Standout character.
There's no Scryfy, yeah.
That was me earlier today when the Wi-Fi was not working, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I love that the show does stuff like that. It gives it a great modern feel. Yeah, I think it's not a bad episode. I thought it was at times good. It was probably the like quote unquote worst since episode 4, but that's okay. So I thought Piper was really good here. I think the best part,
she was really cute.
The best part of the episode is the beginning. Piper's 110th birthday.
Yes.
Confirmed.
All those candles.
Star Day.
Or Star Day, yeah. 110th Star Day, yeah. What do you guys think about, we talked about this before, but it was just a rumor, but what do you guys think about Piper being 110?
Well, she's an elf, so it makes sense. I think it's cool. Like, I'm glad they're doing stuff like this. Like, they're really getting, like they're going full fantasy, which I always appreciate, since that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I love the Piper's understand. The only problem is, as has been pointed out many times, we've had the flashback of Piper and Zarya looking the same age. How is that possible if Piper's aging so slowly? That's the big question.
Well, maybe maybe Piper and Zarya have been together for like a few years.
Right,
but yeah.
And so,
Piper's 10
Piper's
should be
essentially-
like, right, Piper's like 12 now, and that was when she was like 7. That should be like 50 years ago.
Well, it could also just depend. Like, they could be one of those things where like you get to a certain age and you stop aging.
Yeah, she could have had
Like,
like
that's the
a
thing,
super
too.
long 0 to 2 or something.
maybe maybe like Zarya hit a really good growth spurt, like puberty. Like
maybe Zarya's just aging real fast. Yeah, or is real slow or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Other things about this episode I wanted to put. Yeah, I thought the ending was good. I like that we have like a legitimate action climax that all does well. I thought the Gawain stuff was good. I think Gawain's actually a decent side character.
I mean, I hate him, but yeah.
Yeah.
He was really funny. Like, it was actually, great side character.
Yeah, he's very
is the reporter.
the reporter, the Medusa
yes.
reporter is very
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
No one gets.
It's kind of like the snakes on Star.
Yeah, the snake stalking. Yeah, it's
It's so good.
yeah. Sir Gawain a lot. His costume it was very good.
Iron
And
Man.
his catchphrase of "show no mercy."
Yeah,
So
show no fear. Yeah.
ridiculous.
So
And I like how like he was like in his boxers at the end of the episode. Like,
Yeah.
all of this was good.
yeah. Other highlight.
And they totally just played him like a fiddle.
Yeah,
that was the best
obviously.
part.
That's a good use
Yes.
of this character. Other highlights of the episode for me, Piper, like, Malvron, like, passes out on and Piper starts, like, close his eyelids, like.
Yeah, that was really good. That was
And he's like,
I'm
just
resting."
resting.
Yeah, but Piper's so
funny.
dramatic, and I love it. That was one of the funniest
No,
Piper
so, and
moments.
he was like so done. Like,
Yeah.
it was really funny though because he was being really dramatic
Yeah, he
about
was
it.
totally,
And
yeah. But yeah, Piper's great. We had the theme song, the second use of the theme song transformation sequence. I am
great.
so thankful that you guys put this.
I was gonna say I like the transformation sequence
When
when,
there's
we
the
have
theme
the
song,
theme
yes, yes.
song.
there is always a good like if you're gonna play the theme song. I don't care if they're like staring at grass.
Yeah, it'd be
Like,
great.
I love the theme
Yeah.
song.
It's
I watched
just so
that
significantly
episode.
better. Yeah, by the way, check in on transformation sequences. If you weren't listening to our Voltron coverage, Voltron had the worst transformation sequence ever this season. So
Ever. It was really bad.
if you're keeping track of my thoughts on transformation sequences, nothing in Mysticons pales in comparison to the second to last episode of.
That needs to be a roundtable, Dylan. But like the top like worst.
Yeah, that's number one. So.
Transfer. Oh yeah, we should totally do that.
Cross
That's
show
great.
roundtable, yeah. And the other thing I loved that production wise, they put in another original song here. We didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Put these on YouTube.
They're-
What are you guys doing? You only have one on.
Their original songs are wonderful, and I would totally like listen to them over and over.
videos.
So first of all, put
Please.
them all on YouTube. Second of all, make a soundtrack. Like I think they are. Assume.
Yes.
I would buy it immediately.
Same.
That song was again really good. Like
I was
I'd
describing the show
actually
to my
pay
roommate.
money.
I was like, she was like, "What show are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's Mysticons. It's the show with the really lit music." And she was like, "Oh."
that's how you.
Because I've like watched it on TV. Like that's the only. I was like, it's that one.
Yeah, that's how you know. Yeah. Okay, so final thoughts here on either of these episodes, Delaney.
Skies of Fire was incredible, and it was so good, and I'm just really excited, like where we're going next. A Girl and Her Gumlump was like it was fine. Like at first you're like, oh god, but it was still a good episode, and it was interesting, and like they took it in a interesting direction. I thought I enjoyed both of these episodes.
Yeah, April. Final thoughts.
A Girl and Her Gumlump was all right. Skies of Fire was wonderful. Like, please keep this going like forever. I know that's not possible, but I'm excited for Sunday. Like,
yeah. Next week, all hail Necrofa. So
all
God.
hail Necrofa.
we'll see what happens there. Kind of a spoilery title, but we'll see.
It's kind of a spoilery.
Yeah. I have not yet. Thank you, Canadians, for not spoiling us. But you can.
Thank
you.
you,
Can upload the episode,
but-
but yeah. Tweet from Rysen Kari, quoted many times in the podcast. He says about the news. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's probably Zarya Kitty. Though if I was a begging man, I'd be begging for Arcana Zarya.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I
mean,
keep
I
gasping.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm adding drama to the episode.
Yeah, so we'll see who it is. Yeah, everyone in on the recency bias. Kitty Zarya,
all
but
in,
it was
all my chips.
yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what ships are in All Hail Necrofa. I don't think that's what we're. I feel like that's not the lead. But...
Dreadbane and Necrofa. Obviously.
Oh yeah, Dreadbane and Dreadbane and Tasma, right? Kitty was teasing them, right?
No.
Are you guys having a lover's tip or something like that?
It's funny to me because it's kind of like Draken and Shigo and Kim Possible. But then Draken and Shigo actually happened, so I don't know.
Don't remind me.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I am interested to see what happens with Tasma. I'm still expecting Tasma to separate from Dreadbane. We'll see what happens on the pseudo finale in 13.
For it. Like,
ditch him.
Yeah.
Please, girl.
So we'll be back to cover future episodes. Check out overlyanimated.com. Subscribe to us. Search for Overly Animated Mysticons on iTunes. Please join us on the Mysticons chat room is lit tonight on Discord. Find us at overlyanimated.com/Discord. After I drop that news, co-host Sam is like, I have to watch the show now because it's gay. So
yeah. Sounds like it's gay.
I think we've convinced Sam and Andy to both watch the show just for
Yes.
The fact that we convinced Sam means everyone needs to watch it.
Yeah, I think And Sam was impressed by the first episode. And Sam, this is not Sam's type of show, so maybe we'll get her in a future discussion. But
Sam, come play with us.
Overlyanimated.com/Discord for Mysticons chat and iTunes, Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Lily, aka Panda Lily, Mysticons Watcher. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Andy. We're speaking of magical girl stuff, Miraculous Ladybug discussion tomorrow. It's first 2 episodes out in nonsense places in Europe, so we're going to talk about them. Not specifically Spain, that's the nonsense place we're referring to, but just because it's a French show, and it's anyway. So all the magical girl happenings with this show, Ruby, kind of magical girl, and Ladybug's back, so check all that out at overlyanimated.com, covering all those shows, and make sure to subscribe to us and to not miss anything. Thanks very much for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.